Perhaps say a bit about the governance structure, and I've already had a couple of conversations since I arrived here about structures that are emerging, and I think this is really interesting, and what's clear is that in different parts of England people are looking at this in different ways. We already were a trust school. Again, when trust schools came on the scene, because we believe in autonomy and independence, that looks the best thing on offer in terms of maximising that, so we became a trust school. And we set up a thing called the Saffron Educational Trust. And what we sought to do in the Saffron Educational Trust, and it's written into the objectives of the trust, is to embed our education principles, our education ethos into the objectives of that trust. We also sought to bring onto the trust, through the trustees, or directors if you will, the key stakeholders in our school, the key partners that we were involved with. So local primary schools were involved with that, the Faculty of Education at Cambridge, a lot of PGCE work with them, some local businesses, some local arts groups. Although we are a specialist school, we've always said in the way we present ourselves that we might be a specialist technology college, but really we seek to be as good a languages college, as a language college, as a humanities college, and so on. So although we were a technology college, we rather downplayed that and talked about trying to be excellent, as I'm sure many of you do, right across the literature. And we're trying to put all that into the Saffron Educational Trust. So when we set up the Academy Trust, which you have to have, because we have this array of partnerships, particularly with local primary schools and with one other secondary school that we're working closely with, we were keen to build in the possibility of becoming involved in a more formal way with other schools. Hence, we set up the Multi-Academy Trust. And so what we've got, if you like, is this sort of tentative diagram about how things might evolve. At the moment, I mean, all you've got really is this line coming down there. That's the only real bit of that, and who knows? Nobody might want to work with us in the future. So that might be all that remains. And we certainly have no ambition about moving out more widely across the east of England or becoming a national chain or anything like that. We don't want that, or wouldn't be capable of doing that. But we are interested in looking at that model for creating a local education community. And I know from talking to a number of you here over in the Huntingdon area have this learning trust. Well, if I've understood it correctly, I guess our Saffron Educational Trust is a bit like that. It's a bit like this learning trust. So I think what might be a possibility, and we're already in talks with a primary school who are possibly interested in being either X or Y. And they want to become an academy. They don't necessarily want to set up their own academy trust. They want to work. They have been working very closely with us for many years. Before all this started, we had a soft federation of primary and secondary schools, and they were very much integrated into that. So we're currently talking to them about that. What we would anticipate, though, is that the Academy Trust would delegate back to County High, to X and Y, an awful lot of responsibility for running that school's own affairs. So we're not looking at this as a sort of chief executive hard federation model. Certainly not at the moment. And what SAT has chosen to do is, as far as County High is concerned, it's already decided, our Academy Trust, that until 31st of August 2012, it's delegated back to the previous governing body of County High, essentially all the responsibility for running Saffron and Walden County High School, whilst we get our heads around how this governance structure might subsequently evolve. There might be other schools, A and B, primary or secondary, who are interested in working in some way with us in an education trust, a learning trust, but don't want that close relationship. Because, as you will know, even though you might delegate back to what becomes a local governing body, effectively a committee of the Academy Trust, the responsibility, whilst you might delegate that back, of course, the Academy Trust, SAP, retains the legal responsibility. So X or Y get into any sort of difficulty, the organisation that's responsible for sorting that out is the Academy Trust, not that local government body that you've devolved the power to. So, as the LA diminishes and becomes a less significant player, is this sort of model with local educational trusts binding together the local education community the sort of thing that might start to emerge more widely across the country? There's quite a lot of evidence that it is. We're certainly very interested in that, and that's something about how it might look, which I'm sure is more than 10 minutes.